We're here to invest Stephen as a member of the 15th Century Scouts and the Worldwide Brotherhood of Scouts. Patrol leader?
Recruit Stephen Miles to centre, march.
Stephen, do you wish to become a scout?
Yes.
Do you know what your honour means?
Yes. I should be trusting, truthful and honest.
Do you know and understand the Scout law?
Yes.
Can I trust you on your honour to do your best, to do your duty to God and to the Queen, to help other people and to keep the Scout law?
Yes.
I'm going to ask you to repeat after me the Scout promise. True. Scout sign. On my honour, I promise.
On my honour, I promise.
That I will do my best.
I will do my best.
To do my duty to God.
To do my duty to God.
And to the Queen.
And to the Queen.
To help other people.
And to help other people.
And to keep the Scout law.
And to keep the Scout law.
True. But, okay. Badges, including your 15th Century Flash County badge, buttonhole badge, and the World badge, most important of all, that links you with Scouts the world over.
And our patrol flash.
Congratulations, Stephen. You are now a Scout in the Worldwide Brotherhood, and I trust you, on your honour, to keep the promise.
Right, here's your scarf. This means that you're going to be like all the other little lads.
Somewhere in North London, a beaver is born. One of a colony, in fact, taking his first steps towards scouting. These beavers aren't actually scouts. They're not even members of the Scout Association, but they are sponsored by a scout group because it's reckoned to be a good thing to provide activities for the over sixes. At 8, these youngsters may well turn into Cub Scouts, but today they're beavering away under the benevolent eye of a trained beaver leader. Their only uniform is a scarf and a woggle. Their only aim, the pursuit of fun and friendship.
Up, 1, 2, 3. Hold it. Keep holding it.
At the age of 8, however, you can set about scouting proper. In a couple of weeks' time, these Birmingham Cub Scouts will be off to Devon for their very first camp. But just now, with the help of parents, leaders, and a lot of loose rope, they're getting the hang of camping.
Yeah, another one here. Oh, another pig, another corner.
I'll do it.
Now, so far, you probably haven't spotted a leader anywhere. Our Kayla is busy sizzling the sausages. What you have seen are lots of mums and dads involved, without ceremony, in the business of scouting. Scouting welcomes parents with open arms, and they don't have to be in uniform.
This is the sort of thing that you're going to be cooking on when we go away to Exeter. You can see that it's not like the cooker that you have at home. Very difficult to do chips on, so any of you who are looking forward to chips are going to have trouble.
You might think that a chip famine would be the least of the problems facing a multiracial, multicultural bunch of kids in the wilds of Devon. For instance, there's the beds to make.
That one over.
Right, now just turn that up. Right, that's it. No, that's far enough, because that's about your length, isn't it?
It's nice to think that for some of the parents, this taste of scouting will not be their last. A few may well train to be leaders. Others could lend support through the Scout Fellowship. Others still will keep scouting warm by helping when they can.
Nice warm bag. Do you want to come and have a go to getting in? Come on then, quickly. Just wriggle down. Look. Right, well, the ground won't be quite as hard as that. There, you can put your head down.
2 weeks later, in a Devon field, practice becomes reality.
Come on, get up, you lot. It's morning. Come on, Venus.
There are two problems with a cub camp. One is getting them to bed, the other is getting them out again.
Okay, my name is Susan. Right. She comes about 9 o'clock or about 7 or 8 o'clock, something like that. And she says, come on, you have to wake up. And we have to come out, we have to hurry up, wash clothes and everything.
But once raised from his slumbers, Vinesh Prakesh and his chums find that life in a field does have its advantages.
We don't have a bath. Just wash our face and do our brush. And if we want to wash our hands, we have to get steam water ourselves.
No, come on, you can get it further than that. I can get it down.
Which one?
When it pours rain and we can't have our food outside, like down here we are, we go in there to that tent and have our breakfast and food. We have breakfast each different every day. Like today we had sugar puffs, yesterday we had Rice Krispies, the day before that we had Weetabix. You can have it there. Today we've done the parade down there where the flag is. We put it up in the morning, I don't know what time. And then we have to put it down at 8 o'clock at night and we go to bed about 11 o'clock. And God to give us food, to help other people, and to give us freedom. Amen. 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 Good protection. Call out. We get wood, lots of wood for the fire. So some of them, the cubs help us get it when they're supposed to not. We just work like a team. And for the water, we get that we get from the stream over there. That's not for drink. You just when you do it with this and you spit out, you get the cup, you get the stream water, and you swing the mouth with it, and you put it down that pit hole that's down there, and you put all the water there.
Come on.
Sometimes it's like cricket as well, and football, and with a frisbee, or you can do songs. And we had a lot of work scouts that the leaders all got fed up with. So at night we came and we sat by all of us sat by the fire, and we sang the songs, good ones and funny ones. Like when when I got to heaven, I like that one. That's a good one. They all make jokes out of that. It's been a good day today. It's the second best day I've had.
Camps, like scouts, come in all shapes and all sizes. This one comes about 500 strong and happens every 2 years at Blair Athol in Scotland. At the age of 11, a cub can become a fully fledged scout, and at least once in his life, he'll want to be part of something as big as an international camp.
The overseas boys now and again complain. Last night they had some white stuff and they didn't know what to do, whether it was flour or something else. Oh, it was. So that you should tell them. I don't know whether you can tell the Austrians, but I know about the Germans. They didn't know what to do.
The Austrians had to help.
Oh, I see.
I am. You finished after today? Today? You finished. And today? I am finished today.
Here at Blair Athol, 20 nations are camping, a mere drop in the ocean when one recalls that there are 16 million scouts in 150 different countries. Scouts speak with many tongues, mainly about football.
Have you played the football? You play football?
You get
And you write down what comes in. Okay? Set your line. You start going, okay?
These are the symbols that you find in the circuit diagrams, right?
Yeah, no.
So if you turn over the page, 2 pages, so you get to the circuit. Right? Good. Right, this note. Very well done.
From high technology to the music of the bagpipe, you'd be hard pushed to find an activity that doesn't go on under the canvas of Blair Atholl's International Camp. And it isn't unique. There are 3 or 4 similar camps throughout Britain every year. And curiously enough, some of the countries bonded together in the worldwide brotherhood of scouting have managed to include girls in their brotherhood. International camps like Blair Athol are the crossroads of a two-way traffic. Each year, some 14,000 foreign scouts come to Britain. About the same number of British scouts travel abroad. And it is, in a manner of speaking, the pastimes of these international camps which equip the scouts for wider horizons. Yesterday's paper chase may well have evolved into today's radio fox hunt, but the message is the same. Go forth, young man, and find the world outside.
Yeah, okay.
Do you have an idea about the front house it's going to be like?
well, it's same. Same radio fox hunt, as far as I know.
Yeah.
Should be just off of this corner here.
One of the first facts that every scout discovers about the world outside is that it's very often a wet one. This particular neck of the woods is the Hawkhurst Adventure Camp in Northumberland. Around it are 200 square miles of Kielder Forest, not to mention Kielder Water, the largest man-made lake in Europe. From its hostile headquarters in the forest, the Scout Association manages 35 camping areas for up to 1,000 campers. Here, patrols by the hundred can inherit one of Britain's last wildernesses.
Right, we're here, and we need to go up along the shore here, and pitch the tent up there, and then get wood out the forest for the fire. We'll have to do that as quick as possible, get the fire lit.
As a matter of fact, this particular patrol couldn't be more local. The lads come from Kielder village. But their patrol of 6 boys, working under the leadership of a lad barely older than themselves, is typical of scouting the world over.
All right, if we come through, lads.
So,
What's cooking? Bangers and mash. And the smoke.
Here in the patrol system lies the key to scouting, bringing adventure with responsibility and excitement with a real understanding of leadership.
I'm Russell Milner, patrol leader of Fox's 1st Guild Scout Troop.
For Russell Milner, the Kielder Lake means rather more than a water playground, because when they made the lake, they drowned his home beneath it.
Butov, where I used to live, that was knocked down and flooded, so I had to move into the village. My mum had lived up here all her life. She'd lived a wick up, and her house, her old house, every time she went past it was slowly going underwater, lower, more water surrounding it. And a lot of people were sad to see it. It's people's lifetime going underwater. But then you benefit a lot. There's a lot of good things come from it, like this centre. It gains a little bit of recognition for the place. It's not just Kielder, a little village, it's now a recognised place. The biggest man-made dam in Europe. It's a good idea, I think, because there's not many troops would take their Cubs and Scouts out, on boats and stuff, but now they can because of this centre.
As a scout climbs in years, so naturally he climbs in responsibility. In the Scout Patrol, he'll have developed a wide range of skills, including trampling a Welsh mountain underfoot. And as he reaches the lofty heights of 16 years, he might well wish to scale the last level of scouting. At 16, he can become a venture scout, where he'll probably be joined by other boys and girls taking up scouting for the very first time. One of them is Phil Baxter.
I didn't really bother about Scouts until about, I was in the 5th form at school, just before my O-levels. My friend comes up and he goes, well, would you like to join the Venture Scouts? I thought, Venture what? And I didn't really know what it was about, but I thought, well, give it a go. So I went along. After a couple of weeks, I realised that they were all absolutely out of their minds and they enjoyed doing really, really maniac things. And I thought, wow, this is great. I think scouting is unique. I don't think any other form of training builds such self-reliance and goodwill among people. Because I know only too well, when you're out there on your own and you're really gripped and you think, my God, I'm going to die here, there's only you can get yourself out of it. And so you've really got to be self-reliant. Really, I think it is Baden-Powell's ideal, not so much of training people, but of getting people to train themselves. You're told, well, you can do whatever you want and you push yourself as far as you can. And that's what I really like about it. There's no limit to it.
Well, hardly any, and certainly in the case of parascending, a sport pioneered by Britain's Scouts, the limit is literally the sky above. From Yorkshire winds to Surrey whinnies, here at the Diamond Riding Centre for the Handicapped. Scouts in the main don't tend to be pious about what they do, but doing good turns is unashamedly one of the things that Scouts are about.
Scouting trains young people to basically look after themselves and look out for themselves. And once you've gone through your stages and you've learnt how to do first aid and you've learnt how to home help, then you can go out into the world and help other people with their lives where maybe they haven't been as fortunate as yourself to join a scout group or a youth organisation.
Ken Dickinson, a scout from South London, very much echoes the scout philosophy. Public service is a valuable part of a scout's life, be it clearing a canal, buying a guide dog, or helping handicapped youngsters to explore their world on horseback.
At the stables, the kids go out every now and again for their rides, and it's to get them involved with the outside world, and they're trying to use the horses as a means of trying to get them to explore other fields outside the hospitals, which they're sustained. Every now and again we have fetes and so on to raise money for the Diamond Riding School. We've got a horse, its name's April, which we're speeding around just today. The kids here seem to get a lot of pleasure from riding around and seeing animals. There's also a zoo here, and there are animals in that, and just seeing something different. and maybe learning a little something.
Help for the handicapped. And of course it's not unusual for handicapped kids to become scouts themselves. Scouting welcomes the disabled, but it tries very hard not to stick them in a special category. A disabled scout is an ordinary scout, whether he's helped or helping. Doing good comes in all sizes, but it could hardly come bigger or more spectacular than when 30 venture scouts from Rotherham in Yorkshire built a pipeline in Nepal.
Now, you've got a list of the whole list of things, and we've now got to put that into some sort of an order, because obviously we're thinking 18 months ahead now. What are the group leaders? Tell us some of the things that we need to look at.
Well, basic things we got down were learning Nepalese, which might come in handy. Pipeline, because we decided we were doing a water supply. Geography studies, hygiene.
How are we going to get the money to
get there? I mean, would you all agree that if we don't get money, then we might as well start organising a trip to Clacton? Seems our interest, though, secretary.
You don't go to Nepal in a hurry, particularly if you're building a water pipeline for a tiny village in the Annapurna foothills. 2 years of solid planning have gone into this. Fundraising, critical path analyses, demographic profiles, cash flow projections. A far cry from tying knots and songs around the campfire.
Okay, everyone looking straight this way. Down into the camera. Smashing. Smashing. And I would like, if I may, on behalf of Martha Spencer, to give to you these shoes, as I've done to the rest of the group, and wish you every success on your forthcoming trip to Nepal. There we are. Thank you very much. Right.
And not what we've got to do, or what you've got to do when you're out there. I keep referring to it as we. We've got to perform that thread on the end of the pipe, you see. That's not done by magic. It's going to be put there by you by a bit of hard work using hand machines. And you see, look, open the jaw so it just fits on. And just clamp him on steady. You have a go now, then. See all learning your cue. When you've had about 2 months of this out in the Himalayas, you'll all look like Wonder Woman.
The simple fact is, venture scouts are in no way wonder people, but they do have the whole tradition of the scouting movement behind them. Over the years, they've learned to take responsibilities on their own shoulders, and now, guided by a venture scout leader, they're well able to make their own plans and carry them to remarkable fruition.
Then might they come out? We could get some of these large things and gaps in there.
In a few hours' time, Yorkshire vowels will be heard in the Himalayas. But these Rotherham youngsters won't be travelling unprepared. They've done their recce, they've raised their cash, and they know that there's a crying need for the water supply which their endeavours can bring to the remote village of Balam.
I'm Harry Campbell. I'm one of the 2 doctors in the expedition. The problem with the village is that they have this water supply here for 2 months of the year, but outside the monsoon time, they have to trek away up the hill to get water. And quite apart from anything else, it's an enormous burden on the women of the community to have to collect that water. It must take up quite a large part of their day. So the idea is to pipe the water down from the hillside down to the village to 3 taps to provide an amenity for them. And related to that, there may be some health spin-offs as well, in that we're putting the water through a filter. Nepal has really one of the worst health statistics in the world. It's said that 50% of children die before the age of 5, and probably the major cause in that is diarrheal disease. And I think in providing a freshwater supply, you're breaking at least one of the chains of spread of the diarrheal disease. I think from the Venture Scouts' point of view, it's an excellent project to be involved in. It's amazing that it's been, there's so much organisation involved in getting such a large group out to a place like this. I'm really amazed it's really taken off at all.
Dr. Harry Campbell was once a scout himself, and in a way he's using this project to put back into the movement something of what he got out of it.
Well, one of the problems we've got there is that we've got to get a means to do. So do we have to dig in, or do we dig straight down?
Nearly 3 kilometres of plastic pipeline need to be laid from the mountain spring to the village tap. And the nice thing is that given the Rotherham initiative to build the pipeline, the Nepalese scouting movement is able to work alongside the Yorkshire team. Here, the international brotherhood really does have meaning, and community service becomes real community involvement.
That's got the bubble level. That's fine, it's flowing downhill at that. Yes, Mark, the water will keep going down into the reservoir, okay?
And if it seems that these working songs bring a taste of romance to the Himalayan foothills, well, yes, it is romantic, but it's also brutally hard work, digging a muddy trench in the hot rain of a Nepalese monsoon. When you know that you've finished the pipeline, this is the sort of thing you like to remember, but it's beastly at the time. Little did they know, 2 years earlier, when the Venture Scouts of Rotherham planned their adventure, that a simple British breakfast would seem like manna from heaven. A breakfast, a village water supply, the simple rewards of the basics of life. And because of their adventure, they'll return changed by their experience. Young Scouts better able to run their own Yorkshire lives because they've given something to a Nepalese village half a world away.
Right, we've got a birthday tonight. Some of you have already had a birthday and lots of parties, but tonight it's Richard. Would you like
Scouting has had a wealth of birthdays since Lord Baden-Powell first expressed his aims in 1907. And Scouting continues to fulfill those ideals, to encourage the mental, physical and spiritual development of young people, so that they might take a constructive place in society. Things haven't changed.
Okay? Come on. That's right. Yeah? Yes. Let me take it. Huh? Oh, well done.